Hey, I'm here with the lovely, lovely David. Hello, David. How are you?
Ciao, bello, butter and moon,
Yeah,
sister
button
Karen. I'm
the
very
moon to
well,
you.
given the circumstances. Yeah,
Explain
lots
the
of
button
love.
moon, David. I
Nice to
always
be
thought
here.
that was something else, David. I thought the button moon was something else.
Sun and moon, bit of rhyming slang there, bit of Davy, indigo rhyming slang for sun and moon, bud and moon. But it's also in a term of endearment, and it means love and respect as well. So you were kind of right. It's all right. We'll agree to
Yeah, and I
disagree.
thought it was about button moon meant you love me, so I'd always go button moon, but you meant sun and moon.
Mr. Spoon.
Anyway,
Yeah, back in the day.
first hangout, first hangout of 2021, and what a year so far.
Yeah, and it just glad to see the back.
Oh, you still there? We haven't lost David right at the beginning, have we? David!
It's back. I had a glitch. We're on. It's all good.
Oh, good, good, good. I thought I'd
Yeah.
lost you. Anyway, yeah, David's is part of our group, really, aren't you? One way or another.
The fam, yeah, the fam and the clan, Sun and Moon, united, etc. It's been a privilege and an honour. You introduced me to
Oh
many and
no, David, it's
various
the other way round. David's another good friend of mine, and we talk quite a lot, so that's good, isn't it?
privately. We're active. Yeah, it's not just content creators, and yeah, we don't just have a, I don't know, a commercial business public. We have a private. Um, yeah, really, I'd say engagement, but that's a military.
Resonance. We
Yeah,
have a private resonance. We resonate privately. David, you've got a new icon.
I have indeed. Amun Ra, Elohim, Amen Ra, Starfari, Egyptian, Thoth, Trismes, Hermagestus, etc. Um, yeah, I've used it on the Book of Faces. I'm happy to say, yeah, so I've switched up and changed the channel a bit regarding moving to the private and building up some hype with where we're going and what we're doing. So, yeah,
Are
the
people
fist, the
needing you a
icon.
bit more at the moment, David?
Say that again, sorry.
Are people needing you a bit more at the moment?
I've become popular. I don't know about need. They desire information, representation, and it's the same as it was. It's just the popularity with regards to the fear that's out there at the moment has forced man to under these conditions and requirements, and I don't know about orders, but requests from the Westminsters and the Prime Minister there. They've got time now, so they are wondering and they're reading and they're asking and they're noticing, and it's getting a bit where Kevin's work has helped Kevin and Graham with the PIP, and DWP interaction, and then we're getting sanctioned more as another military word, and it's solitary. Some are solitary.
We're not in a very nice
Work was their
place at
only.
the moment, are we, David? I mean, this whole thing. I mean, we know that most of it isn't real, but it's still not a nice place to be with all the pressure, pound, pound, pound every day. Yesterday, there was some
Yeah.
executive order that went and means that there's now you can't trade with most of Chinese companies. But you think they had a UN military meeting there in 2019. So if, I mean, Nigel, who lives there, says that nobody in China knows about that games. Nobody knows about it. Well, I didn't know about it. Um, and when you break it down, it looks like cartoons. But if they had this big thing, it's got UN and all the armies are there. How could they be broken up and having all this argument with China when they owe all this money to them? I find it all really crazy. It's all just part of the script, the game, to keep us all upset and worried and wondering what's going on. It's part of the script.
Yeah, the business, the politics, the fiat debt system that we see. Yeah,
I think
England
the
the
best
same.
way is politics, isn't it? It's a pile of tricks.
Mm-hmm.
The politricks, pile of tricks.
That's right. So military, we're all considered at war. Are we still at war? Warship, worship, warfare, all's fair in love and war. And whether you are ignorant and tacitly acquiesce to what's going on, and yeah, it's you know, the general public, if you're wondering, no, I'm not at war. I'm completely private and with God and Jesus and Allah and Brahma, Dharma, Vishnu, etc. Whatever you know position there. But if you're in the general public, you know, and it's just a position there that we see ourselves in, and money, debt, yeah, China, Asia, but mostly China, yeah, and the UK of GB. They've got power stations.
Supposedly, David, they owe a lot of money to China. So why would you do this to China when you owe them all this debt?
Yeah,
so if I say I owed £1,000 to you, but then all I do is say, well, don't talk to David. We're not going near David. Don't go near David. We're staying away from David. And I owe you money. It doesn't fit, does it?
Reminds me when I used to be a DJ in Greece, and people, yeah, when I used to be in the circuit as a entertainer and so forth, and you'd try and chase the money from the nightclub manager, and he wouldn't answer his phone. Yeah, you just took me back to exactly. That's what people do that owe you money. They don't. They obfuscate and try to subjugate in many ways. Sorry, they avoid you and don't want to pay. Same old tricks been going on for millennia. DJs, entertainers, anybody that owes anybody money, commerce in general. Unless you're in a respectable, honourable contract agreement, etc., and then you're very lucky. You know, those that do, then you count yourself lucky. There aren't many of them. I know. I yield.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a strange place we're put in at the moment, I think, but I don't know what to say really about that. Have you got what's some topics we can talk about today, David? You know, everybody loves etymology, don't they?
Yeah, the root language. Have a look at the BOCK saga, brought to me by brother Anders, direct from Sweden. From Sweden, you've heard of Helsinki. Okay, everybody, you should have heard of that. You should have heard of Sweden, Norway, and the Netherlands. You know, up that way. We've heard of Vikings, VI, and kings. The two kings as thinking and as king. We've gone through a lot of etymological roots and linguistic references, root languages. Well, the BOCK saga, I believe other channels and content creators have started to, and previously, you know, I'm not the first, but shout going out to Anders in Sweden and the Swedish family that enlightened me into the root language of the Norse, Nordic, you know, Finland, Finn and land. Here's one for you. And whilst researching all of that, all the countries that end in land, Finland, England, I'll leave it there. You can work out and find the rest. I'm sure ones will be popping into your consciousnesses now, are allegedly the ones that were frozen over when the pole shifted. The magnetic pole shifting. This is still etymologically based. I found it through the root language of the BOCK saga. Sa and Ga, what does that mean? To give, to receive, in itself, saga, the Star Wars saga. The saga.
David. Not every country. Finland did, England did. I can't think of anyone else. I have to look up how many lands there are. These froze over.
Allegedly, when the magnetic pole shift happens, the pole and the P of the pole, you've got the P of the pole, the P pole, and you've got the whole E land.
Poland.
There's many. See, I told you they'll be popping in now. The room will be going on the chat room. Shout going out to all those that have just typed a country with the word land in it. Swaziland, New Swaziland. That's one there. I got it. But we digress. There's loads to look at, and I didn't need in the middle of looking at past syntax, quantum, DWM.
I've got them. Listen, Finland, Iceland, Ireland, Netherlands, Poland, Switzerland, Thailand.
You've just done a word search there, haven't you? Yes, I see.
New Zealand, England, Scotland, Somaliland, and
all right,
Puntland.
Let the rumour get some in there. We can confirm that when we're live.
What's Puntland?
So that's to do with, so they say, don't believe my word for it. I'm just a messenger of the word of the, the scribes. And I looked into the Box saga. It's about a family that have got the historical conceptualization. It was never written. It was never recorded. It was never printed. It's word of mouth, by man, for man, thousands of years old. And when you look at the people of the whole land, the book, the Bible, the New Testament, the Holy Book, H-O-L and Y. Now we go H-O-L-E and then space, capital E, whole and E, whole E land, the P pole of the whole E land. The magnetic north was once at Switzerland area. When I say that, the holy land of the people was there. You've got a pole with a P on the top, and that's the I. The pole and the P, think of a little I, lowercase I, etymological root language references, and syntactic structures, the linguistics and so forth, all in one.
How did Thailand, how did that freeze over? That's not anywhere near us. That's much lower down. So is New Zealand.
So I'm paraphrasing, and it's new to me relatively, so and I haven't got any visual references. All of the northern hemisphere countries, he did say, I believe, now you've said that, to answer that question, thank you. You're very sharp and concise. That's why we love you. Nothing gets past Button Moon and consciousness. She's very astute and sharp. So he said, I forget the man that's narrating it. He's on a lot of the videos. You look at the Box Saga on YouTube now as you search and listening to this, those in the room and on the playback, you will find a brother there, about 50 odd, middle-aged, greyish hair. He's talking, I forget his name, but he is on a lot of the open source videos, and he mentions the northern countries that have got land in them will have frozen over at the point of the previous, pole shift, going from and to, and where it is now, it's at the North Pole. As we know, we're on a 33 degree axis offset, an elliptical orbit as such. So to say, if you are of that position of the round and you're not into the flat, then that's in itself another previous hangouts of many hours. But they say from this family, the Bok family, the last great Bok has died, and before dying he passed on the story to this I'm gonna have to search for it to give it you, but the man that's narrating it, and he comes up with the root language, and we're looking at runes and such things as and legacies of, and I'm like, boom, thank you, Sweden.
Hey, David, you get this on research, right? When say around Edward IV, Edward V, then it goes William III, then it goes Henry VII, Henry VIII. Maybe a little bit before that, it might have been Henry VI was first, then Edward IV, Edward V. They spoke French. We were all speaking French. Only the royal family spoke English. What's that about?
Madness, isn't it?
Why were we speaking French? That sounds like the French ran us then.
Why were we? That's a good question. That's indicative of
fit into our history that they did, because they don't ever mention it. But it said, I watched this video, it said we were speaking French.
Allegedly, yes, many. I'm sorry, I'm going on to my search.
1500s say we were speaking French, and English wasn't here, except with the royal family.
I have to take your word for that.
I just thought it was strange. Just on our research, we came across that in one of our videos. Floss, shut up moaning. Floss is moaning because she wants to go in the bedroom with Ellie, and Ellie shut the door again, hasn't she, Floss?
Jim Chesner, that's right, chat room. For those that will have typed Jim Chesner, that is the man who I said is about 50, middle-aged and grey hair, bearded man, smoking his joints and jingos or whatever they are, and talking about the Box Saga, Welcome to Hell. Incredible etymological references: person, persona, military, personnel is a military, way there that we've looked at. Latin is always at the forefront of it, but before Latin, obviously, we had the Zoroastra and the Illuminati. Sorry, that's Illumin and Nazi together, bloodlines that we found as well. So it goes way back. It goes well back before. But that story,
there's a big German influx in things. In the royal family, there's just a big German influx in things. They also had an empire, but at the same time, France had an empire and we had an empire. So, yeah, it's hard to work out the history.
Are you aware?
While they're conquering the world, the Barbary ships are conquering us. And how can that happen? At the same time, you've got Tartaria and the Ottoman Empire and the Mongol Empire and all this. So how can they be empires if they're part of Tartaria? It doesn't all add up. None of it adds up. The more you look into it, the more confusing it becomes.
Have you heard of the Germanic language as well? And also, you just made me think. Well, allegedly in heaven there was a war and a battle, and they wanted to come down and Gabriel throwing out Lucifer, the first of God's right hand man. But hang on a minute, we're in heaven on the Creator, and here we go with them arguing and going against the Creator. Now, is that the Lord, or is that God, or is that Creator? So, like you've just said, how can the Tartarian empires, they have coups and they have disagreements, and we have mutinies going afoot, and we even allegedly had it in the beginning, where there was the book of Moses, Genesis, and etc., and we lead into the new books, the old,
At the same
even
time, though,
in the
all these
Old Testament
countries
was
would
written
have had
to go on.
starport, would have had pyramids, and most countries have these pillar buildings. So we were ruled by one lot of people, because those
I
pillar
don't know.
buildings go from America to Australia.
I couldn't say. I haven't got into that, but again, I wasn't around then. I
This is
couldn't
what
source some
happens when you
references.
wipe history out, though, isn't it? When you wipe a history out and lie about it, because the potato famine isn't what they say it is. I mean, that's really confusing, because I got into that because this fog came down and killed the crops. And I thought, well, there you go. And it wasn't a blight, it was a fog. But then when you read up about it, they'd had the blight for a few years before, then it got bad for 10 years. And then, and at the same time, there's all these. I came across this guy on a radio show, and he said there's loads of burials, like mounds. And you're like, and at the same time, they're exporting masses of stuff to the UK, but also the Irish aren't being, there's something wrong. The people are dying. At
I
the
got
same
Irish
time, they're
family.
exporting masses of stuff to us. So that doesn't all add up, because if you're starving, you're not going to be able to work, are you? So was that the Moors? And they got rid of the Moors, which is the dark people. It's just hard to work anything out, because nothing ever adds up.
I've got Irish family and connections there, and I got to speak to a lot of Irish, and yes, I've been looked into this myself, and interesting, very interesting. His story is written by the victors of the wars. So, as we found, through history, his story, etymological reference in there, his and story. His story is is Bullishizing, and mythology is actually truth. You look at history, as Sister's just said there, she's quite right. Again, it's bull at Shizen, and mythology is really just accurate conceptualization of pure fact check facts, and I'll leave it there. Well said and agreed. Here, sustained. Bravo.
And then don't forget, as well as that, it's a bit like we've done this before when you were on a hangout and everybody was, well, I'm English and I'm not English, I'm Greek and I'm this and I'm this and I'm this. So nobody's actually from their original country, really. We've all come from different places.
We've mixed the bloodlines of the tribes of which we were told not to in some respects, yes, and the lineages. In this country, we got more Egyptian DNA in the white Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, English, Anglo. I'm British.
They tried to admit the fact that the Egyptians were here. That's what
DNA.
they've done. They were.
Well, we got obelisks in London, Washington, and the Vatican to celebrate that. Gypsy.
Yeah, there's one in
Egypt.
Marlborough on top of the hill. There's a great big one up there. I took a picture. It's on one of my videos the other day out in the country. Like, why would they put that all the way up there?
The Golden Compass has got a film. Has got the film The Golden Compass by one of my favourite directors. Not that I'm a big fan of Hollywood, but I have in the past succumbed. I'm not a saint. I'm not perfect, and I do like to wind down with fantasy adventure, M. Night Shyamalan, and I do
You
like
have to put your mind on something else occasionally, don't you, David? You have to watch something else to get your mind off all the other stuff that's rolling around.
And he in that for Indeedy, and that's what I'm proceeding to say, that this director M. Night, he's a knight of the elements of. He produces some out there zany, very much eye candy and different script, fictional. It's heavily fictional, non-factual, but the Golden Compass has a scene in it where they're on a boat and they're with gypsies, the gypsies of the sea, and they I'm like gypsies, Egyptsies, Egypt and gypsies, brought to me by Adi initially in Derby on a conversation about the gypsies, because I put a video out saying I am a traveller and I'm an ethnic minority. I like to travel around and I like to do the good work of and spread the word. And my ethnicity is traveller. And if you look at the Romany gypsies and the Irish gypsies, it is a matter of a lawful objective and perspective. They very seldom get harassed by the officers of the Crown of London and so forth. Now, why is that? And I put out the video and the actual evidences of from Ireland itself, not just from me and Facebook or wherever. It was referenced by, and I'll leave it for you to find the videos on my channel, where we've got a nice little way of saying to the officers of the Crown, when they say, who are you and where do you come from? Well, here's David with a quick reminder that if you say you are a traveller, you're not necessarily a gypsy, but I have got Irish, Italian, English and Greek lineage, blood DNA. I'm a quattro from RJ, and part of me is connected to the brothers in the Republic of and the northern part of the island of Ireland. Yes, the gypsies, the travellers, the Romanis.
Well,
However,
you know what else is really
you
sort
want
of
to say
bugging?
that,
When you look at now
keep
pictures,
that.
right, you can find Edward III, which is a long time before Edward IV, right? Might be 100 years, but Edward IV married a dark-skinned person, and dark-skinned people were there the whole time. So it looks like Henry VI, Edward IV, Edward V, William III, Henry VI, Henry VII. I can't remember. Then you've got Elizabeth I, Queen of Mary of Scots. They all had dark skin in them, and I think that's why Victoria had a white. Elizabeth had a white face, because she's obviously a darker person. But so there's all these darker people there suddenly in the royal family. So we've mingled. Why are there still black people then? If we're mingling, and when you come down the line, people have turned white again. I was just a bit like, well, why aren't we more dark skinned?
Well, you've touched on something that's very controversial and political there. I'm going to be careful as I tread, but that's the monarchy and the royal family that you're talking about, not the indigenous land masses that aren't connected to
Well,
the
they've
terra
totally
firma,
lied about
England, Britain,
that anyway, haven't they?
and,
They haven't explained that half of
and
it's dark skinned. I
to
like
make
to just say dark skinned people. I don't like to say, I'll just leave it as we're light skinned people and they're dark skinned
forgotten.
people. But there was a lot more dark skinned people, but we didn't turn dark or stay dark. Look at today.
One at a time. One at a time. I forgot. I've lost my thread. Sorry.
I've confused him.
It was important. It was irrelevant to what you were saying, though. But Italians aren't just Italian, basically, and I've got the Giaramita side of it. That's linked to. There's a lot of buildings without any rocks. I forget the name of them. There's like 8,000 legendary towers in Egypt and the island of Sardinia. I forget the names. They've got no cement used with them, and the big gold towers, massive, built, freestanding, thousands of years old. And the name of them escapes me, but they were built not by the Italians, the Sardinian. The giants were there as well. Apparently, allegedly originated redhead giants of Kandahar and things of the Middle East, and worked their way through to Italy. And Italian genetics aren't just Italian. It's a combination, and it says the darker skinned family members and bloodlines that created Italians, and obviously the House of God, the Vatican, the papacy, and all the Romanus pontifexes. And it's interesting, but those names. Chat room, if you can find that name of those towers from Italy that escapes me now, that's the lineages what the Italians now have that come from, and it's very interesting. Yes, the monarchies, I didn't know about that. You've just enlightened me. I'm not a know-it-all on all of that, but that fascinates me as well, and it doesn't surprise me. What you've said there, not at all.
It's just nothing is what it seems to be. That's what it is. Nothing's what you think it is. You've got all this history, and then when you actually go and research it for yourself, you come out with a different history once you start looking around. So it is there, but you've got to find it yourself, and people don't research. And then on research, we come across masses of different stuff. And I think it's quite confusing because basically, even in America, you can find presidents that are dark skinned. It's like, what is all this? Nothing is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I've heard somebody said to me in an email once, why is it in the round world everything's a lie, but when you go into the flat world, it seems what you find is more true. I went, I like that. I'm going to repeat that at the first instance I can, and that
We were
this is the
talking
first
about that
instance.
last night, David, that we might be in a parallel universe. And
We are. I'll say,
this one
yeah.
we're in right now, this one isn't a very nice one.
The free Nelson Mandela effect.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Everything's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, Lord. It's I, and it just
We should
stuff we
never,
talk
we should
about.
never have had a television. We should have just carried on talking to each other. That's what I reckon. I don't know what you'd have put in its place, but television has just damaged loads of people.
Tell live vision, tell our vision. We used to sit round the campfire, talking to spirit from the sky, spirit from the fire, smoking a peace pipe on the indigenous Indians and Aztecs, Mayans, and Incas and so forth, tribes, herbalists, peace um, keepers of the time, not peacemakers, peacekeepers, and smoking the peace pipe. And then we go from the fire and we go to and telling a tale and telling a vision to the tell I vision. Yeah, more etymological references we've covered before, but I just started slipping.
And also the world of the globe and the world of the flat, they're the two different realms. And you either believe in the ball where you're traveling Mach 80 and going in three different directions, or you believe the other one. I think that's the two realms. They're so different. And if you believe in the globe, which people don't realise, the global thing is just a business. It's all a business. It's a business. But if you believe in that, your whole world is different to the ones that believe that it's not.
Shout going out to Norb's Universal Disclosure and the 21st of the 12th 2020 video that he's done there. Comments on his videos. If you don't know who Norb's is, why not? And I will put the link in when we go live and we're in the chat room premiering. But Norb's Universal Disclosure HD 2020 release that a lot of content creators have taken from and not referenced and monetized his videos, and he gave you permission to do that and gone round in many languages around the realm. He's got some comments in there, and he actually says that not him, on the comments on his video where it says that Martin Kenny has professed that the world is actually round, and I'm like, wow, how things turn around. I don't know if this is true.
What?
If anyone out there, let me finish. I've started, so I'll finish, my love. If anyone out there has got a clip or a video where Martin Kenny has allegedly said the world is round, I'd like to see it, because I haven't seen this cosmic egg revelation, and I'm aware of who Martin Kenny is, who Norbs is, and what work they do, and the cosmic egg, and the obviously flat earth paradigm, what do we call it, multiverses. And yeah, interesting. I'll leave it there. I yield.
I don't know what to say about that.
That's why I'm asking.
Well, we're not round anyway. I've got a bit of information for you. I found out that Russia used to own Canada in the 1800s, and they sold it back to America for $6 million or whatever it was. But it made me realise that on a map, because America's up one end with Alaska pointing out, and then you've got Russia up the other end, and they say the Bering Strait's only about 60 miles and they can see each other, and we know that's not true. They must be looking at separate pieces of land that don't belong to us in our realm. They're almost in our realm, they're kind of in our realm, but that means that Russia's looking at a piece of land there and America's looking at a piece of land over there. So maybe the missing land, everybody thinks the missing land is miles away. It's obviously next to it, either side. We don't go there, do they? They don't even travel across the Bering Straits. They have to come all the way across Europe. So if you want to go from Russia to America, you've got to come all across Europe to get to America. That's why you know that America's up one end and Russia's up the other.
You see, this is why I do lore and about souls and stuff. I like to do things that's tangible and that can actually, help mankind's consciousness and ground us and protect us in the times of the four horsemen of the apocalypse upon the horizon, that being Bezos, Billy Goat Gates, Zuckerberg, and Elon Musk with a fifth one in the wings in case one of them gets damaged. That would be Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economics Forum. I love this topic, and we're in dangerous territory. I love it to bits, and it really is a nice escapism. But I like the practicality and claiming back the soul from the Papa See, the Romanus Pontifex, and so forth, and looking at law, Romans, both people. It's all relevant, and I love it. But like I say, I've been on a good old journey, and it's too much information for me, and I find it a little bit futile, as much as it is.
Because every time you get into something, it leads you onto something else, doesn't it? You can never stop on the subject you want to be on. It just, you think, right, I'm learning about something. And then when you get there, you've got more questions, and then it leads on to something else. So it's a bit confusing, really. It's just a myriad of stuff. It's just incredible what we live in. It's just incredible.
Yeah, like we was on about, you've been on about mud floods and Tartaria. It's evident, it's real. Look at Göbekli Tepe, 12,000 years allegedly, so they say. Buried. The chat and the fist bumps and the hugs that I had with Dr. Sam Osmanovic, actually out in Bosnia, looking at the pyramid and ravines of the Great Pyramid of the Sun. I'm like, well, who's filled that up and who's buried this, and how have they've done it? There's places around everywhere that we find have been buried under, not just buildings that have got windows covered. There are too many things that are buried under deep, underground. So it's evident, and I don't deny it. All I'm saying is it's above, below. Sorry, then sub. It's a substance to me, and I'm looking above and up to the heavens and moving in different directions. But it does fascinate me, and I do escape into it often. And look what you lot are all doing, Norbs, cosmic eggs, and mud floods, Tartaria, flatnesses. In the beginning, he created
the heaven. I reckon they're reckoning that the people with the starports could do energy weapons. But when I looked at Ceres' map that he made, obviously you've got Antarctica in it, which is an ice shelf. And then you've got Greenland, which has got ice on it. And behind Russia, there should be an ice shelf. You can almost see that it's disappeared. So that must have been what melted. Goodness knows what they did.
Yes, I see what you're saying there. I like it.
That video's on the channel. It's a square map. And, in a sense, he broke into Google Maps and got all that information through API keys. But I'm quite surprised Google Maps let him take it. But... it shows three squares. The square behind Russia is water, then there's us, and then there's Antarctica. They don't show anything else.
He didn't get authority. He broke in. You've just given it away there. They didn't let him do anything. He broke in and got the something keys there. So
these API keys you have to pay for now. But he downloaded all the pictures and he downloaded the maps, which showed these three squares: one with water, one with us, and one with Antarctica in it. There's nothing else. They don't tell you what's around it or anything like that. They just show you these three squares. And it looks like a party pop-up book because obviously Antarctica is 4 or 5 miles high. And then you've got us, and then the water behind Russia's lower. So when you look at it, it looks a bit like a pop-up book. It's most bizarre. But I just think that America is looking at a piece of land that we don't go to, and Russia's looking at a piece of land that we don't go to. If they can both see land at either end of where they are, it's got to be extra land. So that land isn't very far away. That land is right on top of us, but nobody goes there because, well, they just don't go there. We don't even go to the North Pole or the South Pole, do we?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Treaters. Well, rockets going up, going off, and then they taper to the right, the left. They go. Sorry, they don't go right or left. They go up, and then they go. Rather than staying vertical, they go horizontal. And what is alleged to be said there is that they go. When we say outer space, we've got the paradigm of the area that we're in now with the firmament as written in the good book, not my, with the ones that have researched this and the ones that are with the great Lord and the Most High and etc. will know that there is an alleged firmament above protecting. And at times when the time is right, the rockets will go and they will permeate through the filter of the firmament, and they will go to outer space, which is the space outside of the alleged firmament, not necessarily up into the black sea of the cosmic celestial universal space, but there is a space, as in E-Bird, Captain Richard
I'm not sure if
E-Bird
he's
there.
real
Yeah.
though. He just
So
looks like another actor. Where the programs they made about him were made for us. They weren't. They weren't.
no, I'm not saying he's valid. I'm just saying, as what he said,
Right.
there is, when we say outer space, you've missed the point. There is a space outside of the firmament, like the Truman Show and things like that. Then there you go, and that's Hollywood. I'm not saying that's real either. The truth in plain sight. There's allegedly a firmament and a dome above a flat plane. When there's certain times of the year arise and celestial 21st of the 12th 2020s come about, then you can get through. And when a rocket goes up and they go to allegedly Mars, Moon, etc., Van Halen and other belts and layers of
Maybe
universes
that's
and
what they've done.
galaxies,
Maybe they've got
the
through and
outer
they've been
space
talking
is
to the other side, and
circle.
that's why we're in such a mess.
The outer space is through that circle, and you've got the rings and the Pyrenees map there and other such maps, that we've looked at and studied. Then see, this isn't my subject. I'm not qualified at all to speak about this. All I'm saying is that rockets go up and they taper off horizontal and they don't stay vertical. You've all mostly seen that video, I would have hoped, where that amateur rocket hits something and goes donk and stops. There's nobody up there stopping it. Nobody's arms that big to reach up and stop that rocket. It clearly stops and spins and falls back down as if it's hit something. There's rockets and things in China making strange patterns that's been seen on videos and homegrown videos. There's rockets and Pentagon videos where dots have come and fired at the rockets and disabled them. We've had mass disarmament of nuclear armories at the same time by dots in the sky. So something's happening that we're not, I'm not just here to talk about this, but as we got into this territory and rockets going up, NASA ones that taper off horizontal are going to outer space, but across and, through and then to that outer space. You get me? So this stuff.
I
Yeah.
think so.
The E-Bird, I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Productions of.
All a
Yeah.
bit crazy, isn't it?
Mr. B and 4 3s is a channel that I do. Have you ever watched him and his channel? Mr. MBB333. Fantastic stuff on that,
No,
Yeah, make a
right.
note. When we're on the replay, and everybody in the chat room, if you've seen that, you will know exactly what I'm on about. He's got about 449,000 subscribers, and he gets thousands of hits within minutes of, putting his videos up. But they are some of the most entertaining and controversial. Make a note. Trust me, when you get there, you'll be like, "Oh, David, well, thank you very much." You'll love his channel.
Thank you, David. Well, maybe you could put a couple of links in afterwards or something.
My pleasure. My duty. My honour.
How's things with you then in this horrible virus? Are you coping okay and everything?
Virus. Did you just coin a word there? Did you just
I
coin a
did.
phrase? We're into that. Virus.
Yeah, I did.
Fantastico. Bella Bella. Lyrus. May I borrow that? May I take that elsewhere and use it? Do I have your permission and consent?
Of course you can use it. It's brilliant. And hopefully everybody will know what we're talking about.
I like that a lot. I'm no COVID-idiot and I'm not a pyramid-idiot, but I've just come to the end of the object of my life's work, and I'm moving man into a mass exodus of the private realm. We're going from status, standing, in capacity, that would be public, legal, and person, and I'm going to got a premiere tonight at 8:30, which has already passed at the point of this video going live, but we will be premiering 2 nights
Well,
at
if I
8:30.
can get this hangout uploaded, I'll be able to put maybe the hangout that you're having in the description of this.
Well, it's the 12th of Jan now, and it will be at 8:30 GMT tonight. But we're going to go from public and legal and person, and we're going to private, law, and man. And I have a grassroots homegrown process that's been developed as of the work of many mans before me, and scholars and self-scholars and academics alike.
Yeah, because
And
you're into common law, aren't you?
no, well, yeah, sorry, you can be forgiven for that. I'll allow that one, but
Whoops, I didn't hold off.
I'm into supreme laws, Abrahamic laws. I've just released some documents which has been given away for free a proclamation of sovereignty explained 2021 heavyweight edition that's free on our Facebook trust. It's been put on the channel in the comments there, and yes, I'm into sovereignty. I am private, and we use supreme laws, Abrahamic. When we say that, we got a lot of areas there that I won't go into now, but we're moving from public, legal and person to private law and man. Evidence of life, essence, incarnation, proclamations, and we're doing very well at the minute. Very excited, and I've come to the end of the road with regards to the research and laws. So we use common law, we respect common law. To just to defend what you've said, common law is prevalent and real, and it's valid and it's useful, but it isn't useful to defend rights and property. It's a social governance contract, of which example would be you and I, all of us, expect to walk down the street and not get stabbed and shanked. You know, that would be your common law duties of obligation. Some of them: commit no harm, injury, loss, and fraudulent dealings. When you speak to man, be respectful, do unto others as you want done unto yourself. You know, Abrahamic laws and biblical, but we use a thing called trust and equity. Trust and equity, and you'll again find that in the first book of Moses, the book in the Old Testament, the Aramaic Hebrew text, Phoenician text of Genesis, and Adam and Eve being stood in front of the Lord God, Creator, and him saying, "Kids, yeah, you do what you want there. One thing though, don't touch them apples. Them apples are my apples. How do you like them apples? You can't like them apples. They're my apples." Dad said to the children. He went away. He trusted them. They broke the trust. There's an example of one of the first, new trust technologies. It wasn't from the Romans. It wasn't from America. It wasn't from Winston Shroud. It wasn't from, any others that say we've got new trust technology we're bringing to you. It's as old as the Old Testament itself. You have ecclesiastical trust and you have Roman secular trust. There are many areas and levels of trust. I briefly took you around 3 of the most popular ones there. I use the Abrahamic ones, and we've got a lot to look forward to with this. We've produced an instrument to rival the birth certificate, and we're no longer persons, we're man, authentic flesh and blood man, and we can evidence that for the first time in 2021 as of the 21st of the 12th 2020. I and my .com and my private lawful trust, I'd like to say Abrahamic, but I believe before Ibrahim, we've got Islam, we've got Christianity, and we've got Judaism all coming together. I've got the darker skinned family, the white skinned family, and all of those that aren't white Anglo-Saxon Protestants coming together, and I can unbond all of you. Well, I can tell you, no, scratch that. I can show you how to unbond yourselves with this technology. We have publications to show you for free, and we are very happy. We're very excited. And
Struck off the globe world, you mean?
That as well. We can do it all, but we need to get into private. You need to go from your public legal person to your private lawful womb man, and we can all get together and be untouchable, invisible to the Romans, the boat people. They row to sail a boat. If you don't have sails, you row. And the Romans, the boat people, we're getting back to land.
Everything's changing round when you actually start doing research on it. Like you think the Romans were this, but actually they were Romans. It was different. It's different. It means
Romance.
It means a different thing.
Yeah. Everything's changing. This is the paradigm after you see. They were saying that there should have been a sonic boom as of the 21st of the 12th 2020, but there was a sonic boom. Some of us heard it and some of us didn't. Calendars, from again Aztec, Mayan, and such others up to from Gregorian, Enoch. The calendar of Enoch, I believe, is the first one I found. And the Incas, Mayans, and Aztec calendars, and 2012. Oh, it's the end of the world. Well, 1999 for some of us that was around then. It was the millennium bug, and that was going to be it. Then it was 2012, but then it's it's incredible the amount of false
that sounds like Nibiru. Nibiru is coming in 2013, 2014, 2015. It just goes on. Oh, it's going to be coming in next year.
That's what I'm on about. So we've actually now finally had one, I don't know if anybody, and you may have referenced and seen the fantastic imagery of Saturn and Jupiter when they crossed. It made like an eye of God, and stars again recently. When I say about weird things happening in the seas of space and heaven and in the firmament above, incredible times. And we've had a what would you call it? A mental alchemy in the thought potentiality consciousness, the oceans of connectivity that we've got, that we all have, connected to. There's been a sonic boom gone off, and we're here, we're there, and things are, we're everywhere, and we're nowhere at the
I
same
suppose
time,
that's
and
a
things
good
are
thing,
happening.
David. We're not as all as clever as you and done as much work on things as you, but many people are waking up and doing their own research. So we're becoming, I suppose you can say, I don't want to use these words, but more intelligent, because we're doing our own research and learning what things really mean, and what that, we don't live in the fake world, we live in the real world.
Oh, let me just say, intellect doesn't necessarily mean, and it isn't a sign of intelligence. Matt Hancock have got intellect, some, false, given, artificial, but they haven't got any intelligence there. Many others have got intellect, but no intelligence. I have some wisdom and knowledge. I'm not clever as such. I'm just knowledgeable. I'm quite an idiot in many ways, but bless you, and I know what you're saying. I'm taking it. I'm going to suck it all up. Thank you, but
Well, you're a
no,
different person now,
we're
aren't
all.
you? So if you look at David now and David 10 years ago, you're a different person now because of what you know.
Knowledge is power. That's all it is. It's knowledge. I've chosen to turn off the one-eyed god, the television and television, and I've educated myself and started to originate and doers of the work. To make a new road, you first got to walk it. To make a new path, you first got to walk it. Without a journey, there can be no destination. So it doesn't just fall into your lap. And I did this to get an access to my blood. 2 years, High Court battle, 20 grand in Sheffield, absolute bullishising for what? A bit of paper that didn't do me any good. Then I learned there's a language, everyone. It's called legalese. It looks like English. It writes like English. It sounds like English, but it isn't English. But man, David, sister, button, moon, Karen here are speaking a language that's English, we'll call it, just English, old-fashioned Anglo-Saxon English. It
What do
looks
you mean,
like
like the thou does one, doesn't one? And they talk like that. They
no,
didn't to me. No,
yeah, no. Well, yeah, that's
oh no,
oldie English. Yeah, you have seen the way that when I type sometimes, and the
Shakespeare
scribes have
kind of
said,
stuff.
why do you speak like that, David? And ye and thy and thine. Yes, that's old English there, but just Anglo-Saxon before the Romans and before 1066 and William the Conqueror and the establishment of inner London there. So English, it sounds what we're speaking now, everyone. For the purposes of clarity and the avoidances of doubt, let me give you a disclaimer then. Karen and David here are speaking English. We're not speaking legalese, but English, it sounds like legalese, it looks like legalese, it writes like legalese, but it is not to be converted into legalese. We're at ease here, soldiers, but the London Temple Roman city and the solicitors and the barristers, if ever you look at if anything is legal, which everything in this realm is, that's commercial is legal is the undoing of God's laws, let me tell you now. And I'm getting all in my persona, I'm getting into character. All right, and this is what I do, because I am an entertainer more than anything else. I'm not clever, I'm knowledgeable, and I'm a wise old bean. That's all it is. And the legalese is deception, lest you be deceived, my brothers and sisters. Okay, we've been deceived. What by education? Give me the child and I shall show you the man. That's what's gone off there. Write your name down, David, as a 6-year-old little boy. I wrote my name down all lowercase, and the teacher says, no, you idiot, that's not your name. You've done it all little letters, David. I'm like, well, what should I do? You use a capital letter, you fool. I'm like, okay, and a capital letter denotes what? It denotes a noun. So they teach you at school what? They teach you in the indoctrination academy there how to write legalese. We call it English grammar, English literature, but they say that you're a person. Well, a person, it derives from the Latin word persona. And equity acts on a person. If there's no person, equity will not, legal equity, not biblical, not Abrahamic, not ecclesiastical equity and trust, but legal trust and equity only acts on the person. It doesn't aid the person that slumbers and sleeps on his rights is one of the maxims there. It will only affect a person. Well, God is no respecter of persons. So who and what are we here? You know, what language, age do we speak? And that's it, really. English is English and legalese is legalese. In Black's Law definitions of idiot, you know, I'm an idiot because I do not understand legalese. None of you do. Nobody here in this chat room and on these channels are attorneys of law or licensed to the London Temple BAR Roman Secular Inner 1067 onwards William the Conqueror, who made a deal with, you know, I'll leave it there. Go and research it. So like legalese, trickery, deception, looks and sounds like English, but actually isn't. And anywhere that's in a contract or business is a legal business, registered. Dun & Bradstreet Company's House, which means they are legal. If they're legal, they have to use legalese, which is why you need a solicitor or a barrister, you know, to go and help you out there and translate.
Hey, I do remember I did your. Do you remember I did your video when you were talking about you were at home and basically saying, well, when someone knocks on the door, you're not supposed to do this, this, and this. And unfortunately, we do it.
Oh my goodness, that was so embarrassing because I'd been up about half an hour and I'd got a bee in my bonnet about something, hadn't I? And it was the TV. That's it. The television had got the bailiffs are coming or something, trying to scare us. Sunday morning, I was like, how dare they? You know, I've just got up and the TV is trying to scare the nation with, oh, the sheriffs are coming, the bailiffs are coming. They're not bailiffs and they're not sheriffs. That's another impersonation, just like the language
they're all
that they speak
businesses,
there.
Aren't they? They're all businesses,
And
and they're employed by other people and other businesses.
Oh, lest we be deceived. Yes, and now we've
That's
come
why
along
you started looking into things, isn't it? Because you know
my
you're
blood.
thrown all this language and everything, and actually it all means different things.
When you go to court for 2 years, brothers and sisters, and you pay 20 grand for a barrister, and you go to a Crown Court, yes, and very odd one, you think it's serious, and then you work out when you met my mum, she come on one of the hangouts, didn't she, and
Yeah,
said hello to you. Mama Giulietta
yeah, that
and
was the other
Giaramita.
Sun and Moon, because obviously we're on one of the sister sort of channels now, because they took the main channel, but we had a lot of hangouts on there, didn't we?
That lady, yeah, we did. Brilliant, epic, incredible
Your mum
times.
came on
And
one of those.
so you saw the lady of which you know, carried me and born me unto this realm, and she was Julia Giaramita of the clan Giaramita. There, you know, no data as such will be given unless I want it to be, but that's who it is. You can research, and she was Derby University law lecturer, and she knew her stuff about law. She was very good in her field. And when I said to her, the reason I got into this was because of the courts, and I found out through my mum. The question was, Mum, why do they wear these grey wigs in the Crown Courts? And she's like, oh, that's because they all need to appear to be equal and such and such. And you know, I can't remember everything now, but and then she mentioned about the legal personality. I went, whoa, what? What's a legal personality? I know what a personality is and a celebrity. And the stars of Hollywood and those types of, you know, how we glorify the personalities and put them as stars on the concrete floors of Hollywood boulevards and that. But a personality, what do you mean? And she explained, and she goes, you know, it's the legalese aspect, personage and barratry. I'm like, what's that? She goes, that's what barristers do when they present something knowingly, knowing it's something else because they're licensed to the bar. And that's how I got into it, because I was you know, having a battle to get access to my property, blood boys that I sired, not the Crown, not the Queen, not the London Temple Bar. And it was like, okay then, Mum, so you're telling me that there's a deception going off, that they're trying to wear these wigs to look like wolf in sheep's clothing, to be fair, is what they are, but they want to look, equality is paramount, you know, and they have all these bullish eyes and maxims and laws and rules to trick us and make us feel at ease. But they're totally separate. And the language and the instruments and everything, it was like a real eye-opener. And I thought it was proper, principled, honourable and honest, and it was nothing like that. It's a facade, it's a game. You are viewed as an infant if you have representation. You know, you can only represent something which is previously known. I'm not known to the Crown London Temple bar system or the legal system, but my birth certificate, Mr. David Giaramita, with a date of birth and a national insurance number, is Crown copyright property. That can be recognised by the Crown because it's issued by the Crown at the point of registration. But man David cannot be represented. You know why? Because man is not legal. It's law, which is why I do what I do. And I step away from the common law and I go to supreme laws. And I went, Mom, you just broke my head, really? And that was a paraphrase, to be fair. And I went, I need to do some digging. And when I found out, I went, I'm going to tell everybody about this. These men are dressing up as Batman, fathers for justice, and this, that, the other, which is commendable. And I'm not belittling it in any way, but they need to know that there's more going on than meets the eye. I yield.
Yeah, more than meets the eye. We've just put into a different scripts, aren't we?
Yeah, to be fair, it's scripted.
How many levels of this are there then, David, in the legal side?
I don't know what you mean there. There was more than tiers.
You've got legalese. You've got the what do you call it? The law we're putting is with docked and stuff like that. That's another level. How many levels is all this stuff? There's common law. There's another level.
I've got you. Okay, yeah, they're not levels. They're just they are. Yeah, we meet them at the at-law level. I have been caught saying that. So you have the lower levels. The common law is quite high. It's not so much. That's not legal as such. You've got maritime. You've got admiralty.
That's it.
You've got
Maritime.
uniform. Yeah, uniform commercial code. So let's just stop.
Basically,
Maritime.
if you go to court, you're supposed to ask the judge, can you sit in this court? Because sometimes the judges are for other courts, and you need to ask him, what's your right?
Let's just stop and pin it a minute then. Pin it a minute. Right, because that's important what you've just said then. Because when you get your next receipt from your shopping supermarché, okay, and you look at the receipt there when you've got the receipt for your goods. Goods come from markets and merchant traders. When you get threatened by the bailiffs and sheriffs and whatnot, and they're coming with orders and warrants, and they want to seek possession of goods, and they've got an order or a warrant, an order for taking control of goods, and they want to seize because you haven't paid, because you've been furloughed or not furloughed, and you've lost your income, and the Chancellor of the Exchequer and the government haven't quite done their magic, and they've left you out in the cold, and then it comes to repayment. Goods come from markets, and goods are not what I have. I have property and access rights to property, and if you look at your receipt when you buy any goods in the commercial legal realm from the supermarket, that can be food, groceries what they feed animals, and the etymological things of grocer and groceries, feeding animals. But your receipt will say merchant teller. You have a merchant banker, and mer is water, mer and chant, water song, sea chant, mer and maid, mer, water, maid, maiden, wench, maid, serving, respect to the women, English old, pubs, serving, wench, with nail and eye, and the Wicker Man type films have got such references in, as well as English dictionaries and books there. So you've got the merchants and the maritime and admiralty, are to be wary of, and they are in the court at play. So you've got common law where you'd think you'd be at, but you're not at common law, because these venues are not jure. They are business, and they are not as they seem. So you think you're going to be honourable and attend, and it's not you that summons, because man, as I said, David can't be recognised because he's not part of the Crown establishment. But Mr. David Giaramita can be summoned because he's the certificate, the equitable instrument.
Is that where you're put into corporation and common law? Is that when you're a Mr. or a plumber, or that's corporation? But we're humans, business, aren't we?
Capitalized. So when you see a business, it's all capitals. When you get a summons, it's all capital name. Why have you got an all capital name? Why are all businesses having a capital name there? They're never lowercase, are they? Think of a business, think of a popular one, think of when you turn on your media streaming device or your technology, how do they promote their business name? All capital text, isn't it? So we would reference Lord Coke, and my publications have got these lords and references in to say that dead entities, corporations are dead entities. Mr. Matt Hancock is all capitals. Mr. Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, the second Lord of the Treasury, is all capitals. Mr. Boris Johnson, the first Lord of the Treasury, is all capital text. So you got it. Yeah, you're doing business as Mr. David Giaramita on this court summons. Let's go back to the court where it's a racket and you need to be on a court to play a game, and you need a racket because it is a racket. Quote in Jordan Maxwell there, you know, and you need to know these things, because if you think that it's man that's been summoned, man is not recognized, but the person is recognized. So you have two of you, and the levels of the court and the law will start at common law. That's outside, and as I said, walking down the street, not expecting to be shanked and murked. And then you get your trust areas of law, public areas would be your common law outside, and then your private
it's
areas.
so complicated, isn't it? It's so complicated, David.
It is and it isn't. But our man's stuff, tribal, is not complicated. It's only the legal intervention when you go into commerce. You see, commerce is kind of private in a way, and man is private too. But you've got the public areas out there with loads of companies in them, but these companies are privately registered and private businesses. Like the Bank of England's private, nobody can go in and investigate it and check it out. It's a private banking consortium that lends money to the government. You see, the government is publicly run, but it's got private men in there, you know, and companies and businesses.
To do anything in the globe world, so say there's the government, but then the government need all these businesses to do their business in. There's always another level of this, and they've got, you know, like it'll be a corporation or it'll be a business. They all need that to make what they want work, to make it work. You can't just do it from them. It has to, like, for instance, the Queen does own Buckingham Palace, but not the way we think. They put it down that the royals own, or, you know, like it's not put down that she has owned it, but she is a royal, and so she owns it. Do you see what I mean? So she still owns it, but they do it in a certain way.
Trusts, yeah. The United Kingdom of Great Britain is not Britain. It's the United Kingdom of Great Britain. It's neither England and Wales. So we have tierages and layers of trusts on land masses. So the UK of GB doesn't exist. It's on paper-based formats only. But yet you think you're in, when you go on the internet and you make an account, it says, where are you? What's your name? All capital name, like on the bank, like on the hospital, like on the summons for the court, all businesses capital. So you put black pen, this form must be filled in black pen or online in capitals, and black ink on the computer screen, it's black, the cursor, cursive text, and you then put the country. And country for us on this landmass would be UK, but when you watch the World Cup, you go and shout England, but you shout in England, but you put on the company, registration form for your Facebook account or wherever it is. That's one of the most popular things that people will make, you know, every day. Thousands of accounts for that crappy domain are made, and it says UK, but yet you watch the World Cup and you shout England, but yet the UK of GB is also in play there, and you've got England and Wales. So what, you know, is going on there?
And the United Kingdom.
So there's your tierages and that's why you've got, but some are land masses and some are fictional paper-based entities. And just to sort you out with regards to the tierages of the court, you got common law outside, you got your maritime admiralty, ecclesia, and UCC. So there's four elements running simultaneously within a court jurisdiction. The language used is legalese, which is copyright language.
How is the average man or person supposed to work all that out?
You're not. That's why it's a racket, and it's a court, and it's a game of life. You see, even at the higher crown courts, this is the case. At your lower de facto county and district, this is the case. But there are different venues, have different tierages. So it depends where you are to what is actually running and what you can use. You can't go into one of these lower de facto venues or even the higher ones that are running Admiralty, Maritime, UCC and Ecclesia and start quoting constitutional rights, because they can't. It used to be a flag with gold trim on it and things that we used to look for codes, and they're basically boats, vessels in dry docks courts. They look a bit like a church as well, if you notice, pews and wooden seats and whatnots and clerks and clerics, and in a shop you have a clerk and a cashier and aisles and sails and aisles and British Isles and sails on a boat, and we've got a sail on in the January sea. It's all insane and madness, and when you get to this point you think, Is this man on drugs, or is it me that needs some? Shh.
Yeah, it's also complicated, so everybody needs to work out what they're saying in the first place.
But that's why I opt out of it. We're governed by consent, and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and other such things that we can use there, as well as what I've said with the private side of things. Man's business is not complicated. What we do is not complicated, but legal and trade and the commercial is complicated. So man can go into the commercial very, very easily and quite well, which is what my .com has done. I've got a private lawful domain that's not registered, not licensed, not nothing. It's in its 4th year, and we haven't done anything, but we're private in public place. But the public can't come into man's private home without the consent or permission. You know, you've got to consent. A bit like a vampire. You know, the vampire films, they can't come into the home unless they're invited in. I know this is a bad analogy, but think of it, because I need to help you out. To some of you are way advanced, and some of you are like, what? So the vampire can only come into the home to suck your blood and invade and take you, massacre you, you know, because he's after the blood. They're not friendly entities. They don't exist. They're fictional. I know that they're not real. Well, allegedly they're not real. There are some bloodsuckers out there that are real, to be fair, that are vampiristic in their nature. Like these companies and the courts, they're very vampiristic. They are, you know, taking energy and usurpating the good sweat equity in life and mineral reserves from the planet as we speak, which is, you know, a cannibalistic way of existing. But vampires, fictional ones, so be it, need to, hello, can we come in? You know, the Lost Boys is what I'm referencing there mainly. Vampire Lestat, Anne Rice, and so forth. You know, they got to come in and be granted. So when you get a knock at the door and they haven't got any reason to be there, you invite them in, which is where one of the maxims of equity comes into play. Not he, sorry, let me, equity will not aid a volunteer in the courtroom. Give me your name. You give that man your name, then you've just volunteered information of your own volition. Now, when I ask me that, give me your name. Well, how can I be a name? I am not a name. Man David is here, and we are not, you know, the defendant. We? What do you mean we? David and Giaramita. What? And this is how we play it. I refer you to my paperwork. May we have some, you know, we hold a court within a court rather than just, so the door knocking, an officer there, no warrant, no paperwork. Hello there, David, can we come in? What? Yes, of course, come in. By all means, you've let them in. You've granted them access. The vampire is in. Not that all officers are vampires. I love you with respect and I honour you. But constables, I love more. But officers, there are good ones out there. They're not all bad. But what they do is operate and work for the Crown of London, which is the again inner, you know, so it's the way that they do business is vampiristic and not honourable. It's not clear and there's not full disclosure. I'll yield again.
Well, it all sounds, you know, for simple little me, it all sounds like, whoa, I need you, David. If I get into anything like that, or I got a fine or something, I need you to help me. It's all you need. There's different law books, isn't there? I can't remember what it's called now. Isn't it a black book?
You don't need me. You just need to read and get knowledgeable. I've just put onto a profile me in my early 20s, DJing in places in Sheffield, the Wicker Arches Club, Shush, private public places, events, Zante, Greece, Zakynthos. And I'm 42 Anons now. And that was a good 15, 20 years ago, early 20s. Me not knowing this. So within the last 20 years, you know, I've edgy sounds a long time, it is, but I haven't done all of this. It's more 10. You need to, 10 years, you need to familiarize yourself and read others' work or my work and the publications we look at, and just know thyself. One of the most famous videos out there, you know, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, they knew stuff way back when that, you know, that we don't know now, that we've lost. You know, flying around in Vimanas, you know, the Lord flew around no, lords don't need machines to fly. Lords fly themselves. If you're using a machine to fly, then you're not a lord. You know, such things as liquid propulsion and vimanas and whatever it's written in the Enuma Elish and Battle of Gilgamesh and Indian Vedic scriptures and text there. We was very clever. There's buildings and monuments that have got the megalithic blocks of Lebanon. No machines could do that now. No cranes could lift it. So we were clever back then, and we've lost it now. All I've done is found family, friends, YouTube channels that could help me. So I've got publications, our.com. If I could advertise that, it'd be lovely, and you can put that in the links.
David, what do you make about all those like statues that keep turning up with writing on them? People keep reporting them everywhere, that they keep turning up in places.
What? Tell me more.
The Geyser stones, they turned up in the 80s. Is that right? I can't remember now. I'm so tired today.
The Georgia
these
Garden,
stones turn up. Yeah, but people keep finding more of them.
Oh, there was that mirrored one that turned up somewhere that got stolen overnight. That one intrigued me. It was a triangular, 10-foot mirrored one. The Georgia Guidestones, more recent, was that latter one, but they've been around since the 80s, and they are 4 stones, rectangular slabs, like a mini, I don't want to say it, but yeah, like a mini Stonehenge, 4 slabs held together with a top slab in the ground, and double-sided. 4 times 2 is 8, so there's 8 languages on those slabs, saying that in the apocalyptic event, cataclysm or something like that, cataclysm, meow, etymological, and they've got instructions on how society can function. But again, I'm self-governing. I don't need to be told how to conduct and govern. Good governance comes naturally to me, claircognizance and so forth. But to others, they need to be instructed and told. I find it disturbing that in Georgia, America, stones can turn up. I have got names and things about that, but I'm tired and I can't get into that now. But you research it, and it's disturbing, to say the least. The whole concept of that agenda and whatever it is, it worries me, but it doesn't surprise me. It's disconcerting, to say the least, isn't it?
It is. So I'm just making a drink downstairs. My kettle's going. I don't know if you can hear it, and I can't come in here because my daughter's stopped now. She was exercising in the living room. So but yeah, it's all confusing for just the ordinary little person. But obviously, lots of people research and things, don't they? And lots of people like to find out what things mean. So it's good. Well, we've been going for about an hour and 10 minutes. Do you want to just finish up? Do we want to finish up, or do you want to talk a bit more, David? Because you've talked quite a lot.
We can finish on a happy subject and then end. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we're finished. Yeah, that's flown. I've enjoyed it, and there's a lot in there. As
that
always,
went very quickly, didn't it? That time today. It always goes quickly with you, David.
Prometheus. I am the winged fast man of the Greek mythology. I think I do like the ibis-headed Thoth and Hermes Trismegistus and whatnot, but Greek mythology, Norse mythology, Egyptian and whatnot, which is actually fact, not mythology. I'd go for Prometheus, the winged man. The hat, the man that wears the Greek god with the hat and the wings. I would have the spirit of him in me, I think.
Yeah, you've got wings, David. You've got wings. There's even some on the picture, isn't there? Even on your icon, there's wings. You've got wings.
Oh, that's Amun Ra. That's my Egyptian. Yes, I don't know about that. It's a triangle. There's lots in there. I've taken a lot of hits on that one, actually, good and bad. But yes, I give you wings. You have got wings. We're all angels in our own right, just waiting to fly. We've been clipped by deception, and we are here to unclip your wings.
That's the bit I don't like, David, is the deception. Everything, when you get to it, you think, oh, deceived again. Everything is deceived.
Yeah.
Nothing is what it seems to be.
There is wings on that bird. Yes, it's not a phoenix. It is. It says Amun Ra. Amen is one of the most. You got the sun god. You got Aten, Apep, I like the Egyptian deities and gods before monotheistic, before Akhenaten was the one to make. Before Akhenaten, they used to worship many gods. In mythology, you'll find that they said gods. Elohim means gods. There was lots of gods, but after Akhenaten, they made one god kind of like monotheistic, which isn't quite true, I'll argue. But just to keep it brief and end on a happy note, yeah, Aten, the sun. And Ra is the king and the one, the true, biggest, highest, most high. Amen, Amen at the end of the prayer, Amen Ra. And so you've got Aten, Amen, Isis, Osiris, and Horus coming from, and the hours of the day, 12. You've got the sun moving through 12 stages of the day. Horus connected to Egypt mythology, Ra being the sun god, the top, the one, the son of God, the Bible, the son, Jesus, the son, SON, SUN, happiness. Look at me go. So you've got then the 12 stages of the hours of the sun, and then Horus, horizon, Horus, anagram, hours, HOURS, Horus, HORUS. So Horus and hours are the same word, just, Then you've got the 12 stages of the day, the 12-hour stages of the night, separated by Eve. Eve is in the middle. That's where you've got the evening. Okay. Yes, I know. And then it goes back and starts again the next day. He will surely rise again. And he rises where? All eyes on the horizon. Horus rise on. Horus rise on. Horizon. Oh, praise be Ahmed. Allah Allah.
Oh, thank you for that, David. I hope that resonated with people.
I love it. I live and
Oh.
breathe it. I really do live and breathe it. And I am just a messenger, a message across the ages, some kind of a sage, and we'll yield there. I'm ready for a breath. I love you.
Oh, I love you too, David. David, thank you for saying all that. Hopefully that's resonated with people. If you're mega intelligent, you'll love David.
Oh, no. Everybody's the same. We've just got different qualities in us. I am God's little arstard. I'm just one of them that questions authority. And if somebody tells me something, who are you? Who says? Yeah, but no, but, and that's what I've learned to do. I'm confident and I'm loving and I'm the same as you. And I'm willing to help anybody. And we've got the places in the splspro.com, the publications, the Facebook fam. You go to the .com, you can link to our Facebook, and you can come in the private and have a chat with us and study. And we've got 300 and something documents in our resource library. Academia.edu. I've got 30 publications that mention the name Sovereign Giaramita. That is my Facebook persona. And I'm quite chuffed for academia.edu to be having 33 papers, I know 33 papers in there at present that mention the name Sovereign Giaramita. There's only one, me. Giaramita is quite a rare Sicilian family clan name, and David is my given name, but Sovereign Giaramita, I'll tell you now, there's not many on this realm that go by that calling and clan. So to have that, there, and I'm willing to help anybody for free and by proxy of our publications and our self-help places. I can't help you all. These videos, and what the sister's done here, and my babble is my pleasure. All right, treasure.
Very much so, David. David, I've really enjoyed the hangout. It's good listening to you. I hope it's resonated with people or learnt a little bit more or understood a bit more. Yeah, thank you so much for that, David.
Thank you. God bless. Creator bless. Amen to all. Rastafari. I and I am yielding and saying goodbye, good night. God bless, and hopefully we'll see you soon, Bud and Moon.
Hey, to my friend David, and to the chat room, thank you for joining us, and we'll be back soon.
End it. Press it. Love you.
I'm
Bye.
doing it. I'm going to do it now.
Love you. Bye. Thank you all.